everybody. Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Streb. Thank you, Penn. Happy Mother's Day. Thank you, Mom. Okay. Still single? Maybe it's your hair. Thank you. Good night. So, when I was 32, I accepted an invitation from my parents to go on a trip with them to Spain. And I would rather have gone with my husband, but I didn't have one. So my dad and I decided to prepare for the trip by learning Basque, because we were going to the Basque country, and that seemed like a reasonable thing to do, especially because we're really good at languages. My dad, especially my dad, I get it from him. He's actually an emeritus professor of phonology and linguistics at MIT, which means that 7 people know who he is, and he is a heartbeat away from Noam Chomsky. So we're like, okay, we'll learn Basque. We order the only Basque textbook there was at the time, and just so you know, the thing about Basque is that it's actually unrelated to any other language. It is unrelated to any other language, so any other language you know will not help you learn Basque. So we get the book, we start practicing. He's in Boston, I'm here, and I'm on chapter 1, and I am stuck. I cannot do it. It is impossible. I can't get to page 3. I can't learn how to say, where's the train station? I get nowhere, and I'm feeling grumpy and competitive because I bet my dad's on chapter 7, and I email him and say, how's the Basque going? And the reply from the emeritus professor at MIT comes and says, fucking language from hell. This is a waste of my time. So we gave up on the Basque. We just decided, our joke at the time was, look, all we need to do is learn how to say, I support your cause. And we'd be fine. So I had a good time with my parents growing up, only child. We hatched plots like that. We had good camaraderie, just good stuff, good traveling together. And so it actually threw me for a loop when, trying and failing to learn Basque was no big deal. But the other way that my parents attempted to prepare for this trip to the Basque country was what really threw me for a loop. What you need to know is at the time I had pink hair. And it wasn't all pink. It was like kind of cool orangey red and then with some fuchsia streaks. And my parents hated it to a point that was weird. And because it wasn't like dye your hair pink to piss off your parents pink, it was like really beautiful. It was something I did as an adult. I was 32 years old. I had disposable income. It wasn't like I, got drunk and did it at home and then pierced my own lip. It was like this really beautiful, expensive dye job from a fancy place in Soho. I really loved it, and they hated it. I did not know why. They tried everything to get me to change it. My dad sort of made his opinion known and then backed off. But my mom would not stop. She tried everything from just the direct order, I hate your hair, please change it, to emotional blackmail. There was one night when I had come home from my 15th high school reunion, and I was on the phone with her crying, letting her know that I was one of only 3 single women in my entire class. And I said, Mommy, why am I still alone? And she said, maybe it's your hair. Now, the other thing you need to know about my mom, which is also different from my dad, is that she is a champion worrier. Her worrying is epic, Olympic, encyclopedic. She is amazing. She knows how many feet you need to sit away from appliances that emit hazardous electromagnetic rays, and no one is more committed to washing fruit. And she once sent me an email with a subject line, yogurt. And inside, all it said, in all caps, all it said was, eat only Stonyfield Farms. Something about acidophilus? I don't know. So in preparing for the trip, when I got an interesting email from my father, not the worrier, I knew I had to pay attention. And I kept it. This is what it said. Given the increased volatility after the recent Basque elections, my colleague Carlos thinks that while life-threatening danger is remote, it would be prudent for us or anybody to be inconspicuous. And not flaunt our status as outsiders, which, tender subject I know, your present hair color does. Can you squeeze in a dye job to a more mousy, or at least less flamboyant color before you leave? Given that we have a responsibility not only to ourselves, but also to others, please take this seriously. So, it wasn't just that my hair would make me die alone. It was that my hair would get us all killed. So, you know what I did? I changed it. And it was not to say to my parents, I support your cause, because I thought they were crazy. But I thought, you know what? I'm a grown-up. I've got nothing to prove. How often do we get to just do one simple thing to make our parents happy and just be done with it? So I did. I dyed it some brown, some, chestnut, safe, marriageable brown. And, figured I could always dye it back. And they were happy. It was worth it. We went to the Basque country. And there are a couple of codas here. The first is that, of course, the minute we landed in the city of Bilbao, somebody proposed. Haha, kidding. So the minute we landed in Bilbao, something immediately became clear, which was that red hair, like really, really red hair, like run Lola run red hair, was all the rage in the Basque country. So with my mousy marriageable hair, I stood out. So I started to wonder if my parents had invented the whole trip just to get me to change my hair. I still think that might be possible. But years later, I did actually, and I don't know what it did or didn't have to do with my hair color, but I did manage to meet the man that I would marry, and which, by the way, is the subject of another six-word memoir, Engaged in Jerusalem. Thank you, God. And now I'm a mom, and I have a fantastic 8-year-old and a fantastic 6-year-old, and I do hope that I am able to teach them all the things that my mom taught me, how to stand up for yourself and how to like yourself and how to protect yourself from 7 varieties of pesticide. And of course, as the cliche goes, I have started, or I have, for many years, I've little by little started to understand all the stuff that my parents did that I thought was crazy at the time. But now that I have this sort of primal, feral, protective love of a parent, I'm starting to kind of get everything they thought and did, except for the hair. Like, what was that with the hair? Although I will say, pretty recently, my daughter and I were in a store, and we saw this stuff called hair chalk. I don't know if you're familiar with it. It's just like in a package, a Dwayne Reed or whatever, and it's this, it's not at all permanent. It's this temporary chalk. It's like a crayon kind of stuff that you put in your hair. And my daughter said, "Can we get that?" And I said, "I support your cause." So we bought the hair chalk, and we go home, and we put it in that day. We're putting the hair chalk, and it's kind of a little grimy and chalky, and it doesn't really look like what's on the box. And I'm starting to think this isn't as nice as I thought it would be. And then I thought, well, who cares? It'll wash out. And I started to think, I wonder if it really wasn't about my hair, this whole thing with my parents. I wonder if, here's my mom with this only child, thinking, I've got this great kid. She's 32, ripe old age, 32, not married. She's successful. She's pretty normal. She's kind of cool. Why on earth wouldn't she be married yet? It can't be her personality. It must be something superficial, cosmetic, fixable. Maybe it's her hair. So I started to think, maybe my mom didn't hate my hair just to make me insane. Maybe my mom hated my hair because she loved me. So I'm there with my daughter, and we're putting in the hair chalk, and it's kind of getting grosser and grosser. And I'm looking at my kid, and I'm having all these feelings of fear and hope and love and protection, and the chalk looks terrible. And I look at her, and I think, you look beautiful. Thank you.